Most of you are probably familiar with Edward Snowden. He is the American former NSA contractor who released certain details to WikiLeaks about and other big news organizations about the NSA program, about the U.S. government spying on its citizens, on its allies, and in the process of doing so, he became sort of this hero of American libertarians and civil liberty activists, and very much the enemy of the American intelligence community and the enemy of a lot of people in the more conservative and nationalistic circles. He ended up, as you've probably known, having to flee to Russia because they would, give him shelter. Generally, they protect our whistleblowers, we protect theirs. It's a kind of back and forth. But he might be finding himself in some hot water now. There are unconfirmed reports. It's usually unconfirmed when you're talking about spy games like this, that the Russian government is considering trading him back to Trump in order to curry favor. Now, I'm skeptical about this. Number one cause for my skepticism is that how should I put this?
Is Putin gonna trade in Edward Snowden like baseball card under a
Yeah, right.
sperm stained mattress?
Oh God, are they gonna yeah? What's he get out of return for this? That's it. So the the reason I feel hesitant about this is because number one, the source was an unnamed intelligence official who was citing communications they intercepted from high level high level Russian officials. So you're talking about NBC that reported this, which is not a news site that I really trust all that much. Citing these, unnamed clandestine sources between, citing the unnamed, CIA spooks of our government who are spying on the unnamed spooks of their government. And it's, a lot of, there's, so much room for uncertainty and doubt in there when you're talking about, these big, powerful rival countries and their spy games. It's very difficult to tell what's true and what's not. The other part of it being that, well, Putin is former KGB. He knows the spy game. He's not stupid. He is ruthless, but he is not stupid. And he should know very well that if you trade away someone like Snowden, people would be very, very, very hesitant to come to the Russian intelligence or the Russian government with any kind of information they might be able to use because they'll know, hey, I might get, traded away to be used as a pawn. I mean, countries don't trade away their spies. Snowden said this himself in an interview. I mean, this is a vindication for him. What if this is indeed the case? Because what this shows is that even if it costs him his life or his liberty, this shows that he's not just a Russian spy. He's not just playing a spy game for another country's government. He had a problem with what his superiors were doing, and he did the right thing, and he did the moral thing, and even at great risk to his own life, and ended up sending him into exile. I mean, he's living thousands and thousands of miles away from home. I don't know if the guy speaks Russian. He's a spy. He might, it is with those types. So I'm it's something I could part of me could see Putin doing. He's definitely ruthless enough to do it. I'm just not sure he's smart enough to do it. I think Trump would definitely let him do that if he made the offer. But the other thing too is that the Russian government has denied this. They've said this is not the case now.
And it never lies, the Russian
Oh no
government.
no no no! Government's lying. Especially powerful geopolitical actors. Everyone knows that they're like monks. Perfectly truthful and innocent, and never do any lying or wrongdoing of any kind.
I think,
Promise.
yeah, I mean, I think that between Putin not releasing that golden showers tape of Trump and
Sure.
trading in Snowden, this could be the new beginning of American-U.S. relations.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think that
All we needed was golden showers and a little spy swap. That's
yeah,
all it took. Why didn't Khrushchev and Kennedy think of this?
right.
All they got to do is just have Khrushchev, come to the United States, have some American hookers pee on him, and bam, Cold War's
Yeah,
over. That's all I had to do.
exactly. Yeah.
All they had to do.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you that even I don't believe that Snowden was recruited while he was at NSA or that he's
It's unlikely.
that he's a Russian spy. But nevertheless, it would be a blow to any Russian spies working right now in America or
Yeah.
Canada or Western countries to see that Snowden could just be traded in so carelessly. So I mean, I highly doubt it. Sounds like some intelligence noise. But the one person who definitely did win from this is Edward Snowden, because he could highlight the fact that this kind of rumor kind of highlights the fact for him that
he's not a spy for the
Yeah.
Russian Federation.
Right.
He is his own man, and he is doing what he thinks is right, even at great risk to him. And mad props to him. I mean, there are not a lot of people famous political figures out there that I really admire these days. I always have this kind of cynicism about me, but I am impressed by what he did. God help me that I should ever have that kind of courage if the day comes to it. Because he could be just still living in Hawaii, like raking in six figures.
His girlfriend was pretty hot.
Oh yeah, his girlfriend's babe. She had a great house, interesting job, not necessarily a job I would want to do, but an interesting job. And now he's living in, oh God, I don't know, maybe they got him posted up in Siberia or something. I don't even know.
No, he's in Moscow.
Oh, he's in Moscow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess Moscow's decent. So still, it's not Hawaii though.
Yeah.
It's not Hawaii. I mean, I'm not hating on Moscow.
Yeah.
Beautiful city. Lovely weather.
Yeah, you can enjoy the subway though.
Oh, I'm sure. It's lovely subway.
Yeah.
So, it's really what this has done is this is kind of, if this is true, I think this is going to make people admire Snowden more. What'll be interesting though is if word of this gets to President Trump and he says something about it. I'm definitely waiting on hearing that, because that'll be interesting. He said that Snowden is a traitor. He said that Snowden should be executed. One of the very rare things I give Obama credit for doing was commuting Private Chelsea Manning's sentence so that she would not be in prison by the time Trump could do anything to her. I'm happy with him for doing that. I wish he had done it sooner. I wish he had pardoned Snowden. I wish he had pardoned a lot of people. There was a lot of things I wish he had done.
But how do you want that? It's kind of like people like Snowden. They bypass the normal levers of democracy, where people are supposed to pass a bill that would limit the powers of the intelligence community. If everyone just improvises on their own, dumps the secret information.
Well, there's two parts to that. The number one thing is that he did go through the usual channels. These agencies do provide means for their employees, for their underlings, for their spies or contractors. I believe he was a contractor or an analyst, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he was a contractor.
To go through these proper channels and voice their complaints. And he did that a total of 12 times. And nonetheless, each time they said, sorry, go back to your job, put your head down, keep doing what you're doing. The other thing is that I contend the people who are really, bypassing, the democratic process or the process of a republic are the NSA themselves for doing this. I mean, this is a complete violation of the Fourth Amendment. This warrantless wiretapping is collecting of all of this metadata, not just on Americans, but I mean, just people all over the world. Not even in, against countries that are hostile to the United States, just, anybody. I think it's blatantly unconstitutional. It's immoral. And if he has to bypass the rules to let people know that, I say do that. I mean,
but does the public care about it?
The public, I don't know what exactly the whole general public opinion on Snowden is. I'm sure there's a lot of people that think he's a traitor. There's a lot of people that think he's a hero. I fall into the latter category. Personally, I think before anyone in the public says a word of negativity about Snowden, they need to be thinking about the president and Congress and the Supreme Court and the intelligence apparatuses and everyone had said it was okay for the NSA to do this. Because here's the other thing too. I mean, if you want to talk about bulk metadata collection, it's not even a good way to get intelligence. The good way you want to get intelligence is by human intelligence, humans, what they call not SIGINT. SIGINT, signals intelligence. That's the other abbreviation for it. You want to go and you want to actually get a network of reliable informants and agents and stuff like that. If you're just getting all of this, just everyone's text messages and emails and stuff. I mean, what do you do with that? How do you sort through all that? One of the ways that they conduct the drone strikes in Yemen, Pakistan, Somalia, these other places, is they go by signals intelligence. They go by signals intelligence. They go by tracking people's movements to fire these drone missiles at them, and they end up like a 50% success rate, which means that only one out of every two people they get is actually terrorists. The other person is just some random person they've blown up. It's a mess. I mean, on a moral level, on a practical level, on a legal level, on every level, this is just not okay. And I'm not like an expert on espionage. I read about this stuff, but I've never actually gone out there and done it. But like it just doesn't seem like a good way to do it. So I think really on every level, Snowden has done the right thing.
Has anything changed?
People know about it. More people are upset now than if they'd just not done anything about it. Whether he's not completely blown the lid on the entire U.S. intelligence apparatus, for better or worse. The other thing too is, and this is where you get into really unconfirmed kind of weird spy game territory. There are rumors of a sort of internal rivalry going on right now within the U.S. intelligence community. Now, this is the kind of stuff where you really have to take with a grain of salt. Anytime you're talking about spies, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But the rumor is that the NSA and the CIA are kind of in this jostling to try to, each secure their position as the primary intelligence agency. See who will get the funding, who will get the missions, who will get the, who will get the other, all this influence. And if I'm not mistaken, there was actually a similar sort of shakeup in the late '90s within Russian intelligence, between their military intelligence and their foreign intelligence, between the FSB, and I'm not sure who the other guys were.
Well, they split the KGB into different parts. So
yeah, so it was something like that, and there was some kind of jostling between these intelligence groups, and that happens. I mean, in any time in any kind of law enforcement, I mean, there's tension between the FBI and local police departments.
yeah. So how does it relate to Snowden?
Well, the speculation is that it was the CIA that put Snowden up to it. Now, I mean, Eureka said we're getting into total crazy conspiracy theory territory here, but the idea is that the CIA would get him to do this in order to discredit the NSA and make them look like these bad guys who are, violating these civil liberties, as opposed to the CIA, who are, I suppose, these heroes for democracy or something. And I don't know. That's not really the way I usually think of them, but
no rapes in Latin America since the 1980s.
yeah, right. No coups. They're cleaning up their game. Maybe they should have a little one of those things like it has been like X number of days since a military coup or something like that. But I mean, this is the source I heard it from was not really anything I would really rely on, and that's always the thing. You're talking about spy games like this. It's really hard, especially when you're a civilian like myself, to find out anything that's going on. You're working with really compartmentalized information. They deliberately will spin these webs to try to prevent people from figuring out what's going on. Personally, I don't necessarily believe that that's the case. As a matter of fact, I would bet that it's not. But it is definitely an interesting possibility and something to keep your eye on the future. So all in all, I'm proud of Mr. Snowden. I'm proud of what he's done. He's one of the very few people out there that I can say genuinely makes me actually proud to be an American. And I wish him the best of luck in the future because he is going to need it.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll have a Russian wife to console him.
Right.
All right, so that's it.